They already tried to break you. The ones who said you'd never amount to anything. The ones who smiled while hoping you'd stay small, contained, predictable. They tried to hold you back. And for a while it worked. Not because they were powerful, but because you believed them. You absorbed their doubt like poison. You dimmed yourself so they wouldn't feel threatened. But here's what they didn't count on. You're still here, still burning beneath the surface. That fire they tried to extinguish didn't die. It went underground. It became something they can no longer control. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this fire. He spent his life studying power. Not the loud kind, but the quiet kind that moves through shadows. Buried within his writings is a code, a psychological architecture for becoming untouchable. Not cold, not cruel. Untouchable. The kind of person who can be insulted without flinching, rejected without crumbling, betrayed without losing direction. This is not about revenge. This is about understanding a truth so uncomfortable most people run from it their entire lives. The people who hurt you never had the power to break you. You gave them that power. And tonight you're taking it back. Here's the brutal truth. Most people are prisoners, not to circumstance, but to a version of themselves that was never real. They built their identity around others' expectations. They shaped their dreams according to what seemed acceptable. They silenced their truest impulses because someone said those impulses were dangerous. Now they walk through life wearing invisible chains. Machiavelli saw this with terrifying clarity. He understood that the most dangerous control isn't violence, it's dependency. When you depend on someone's opinion to feel worthy, they own you. When you need validation to take action, you've already surrendered. When you shape your choices around avoiding disapproval, you are no longer free. But you're not young anymore, and now you know. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge? Machiavelli wrote that a man who wishes to act entirely with virtue will be destroyed among so many who are not virtuous. This isn't a call to abandon morality, it's a warning. If you wait for the world to be fair before you start moving, you'll wait forever. People will try to hold you back, not because they're evil, but because your growth threatens their stagnation. Your courage exposes their cowardice. How many times have you been knocked down? How many nights did you lie awake wondering if you'd ever find your footing? And yet, here you are, still standing, still refusing to accept that this is all there is. Do you understand what that means? It means you are unbreakable. Not because you don't feel pain, but because pain hasn't stopped you. Every attack, every rejection, every betrayal was supposed to end you, and it didn't. They couldn't break you. Not because you're made of stone, but because somewhere deep inside there's a part that refuses to quit. A part that keeps whispering, "Not yet." Machiavelli called this quality virtù, not moral virtue, but inner force, a combination of will, adaptability, and relentless forward motion. And here's what most people miss. Virtù is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you build. Every time you get up after being knocked down, you're building it. Every time you choose action over self-pity, you're building it. The attacks were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to reveal you. Every wound is evidence that you survived something. Every scar is proof you chose to keep going. Your pain is your power. It taught you things comfort never could. The people who tried to break you had no idea what they were creating. They thought they were crushing you. They were forging you. Now you're ready to understand something Machiavelli understood 5 centuries ago. The same force that tried to destroy you is the same force that made you dangerous. Dangerous because you can no longer be controlled by fear. The code begins with one uncomfortable truth. You are alone. Not emotionally, but strategically. No one is coming to save you. This is not pessimism. This is liberation. Because the moment you stop waiting for rescue, you start becoming the rescue. The moment you accept that your life is your responsibility, you reclaim every ounce of power you've been leaking to others. Machiavelli wrote that he who builds on the people builds on mud. Your foundation must be internal. Your sense of worth, your direction, your reason for getting up, these cannot be borrowed. They must be owned completely. Second, emotions are data, not commands. Most people are ruled by what they feel. They feel fear, so they retreat. They feel doubt, so they freeze. But Machiavelli understood emotions are signals. They tell you what's happening beneath the surface, but they are not orders. The untouchable mind feels everything but is controlled by nothing. This is not suppression. This is mastery. You don't become cold. You become free. Third, you must learn to wear masks, not to deceive, but to survive. The world does not reward transparency. It rewards strategy. The person who reveals everything becomes a target. This doesn't mean becoming fake. It means becoming selective. You don't owe everyone access to your inner world. The mask is protection. When you master this, people stop being able to use your openness against you. That's when the power shifts. Being unstoppable isn't about speed or intensity. It's about inevitability. The unstoppable person moves like water. When blocked, they don't crash against the wall. They find another way. They go around, they go under. They wait until the wall crumbles, but they never stop moving toward their destination. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how prepared you are when it does. The Machiavellian mind prepares for multiple futures. It builds contingencies. It cultivates flexibility that makes it dangerous in any environment. You cannot stop water. You can only redirect it temporarily. That's what you're becoming. And here's the psychological shift that makes this possible. You must detach from the timeline. Most people give up not because the goal is impossible, but because it's taking too long. That clock is a lie. The timeline was never real. Depth takes time. Transformation takes time. Becoming who you're meant to be takes longer than becoming who they wanted you to be. Machiavelli wrote The Prince after being exiled, tortured, stripped of power. He wrote it from the ruins of his former life. And that book changed political philosophy forever. Your greatest work might come from your darkest season, but only if you refuse to be stopped. So here you are at the end of this, but really at the beginning. You've heard the code, you've seen the pattern. Now the only question is, will you use it? They couldn't hold you back because you're no longer standing still. They couldn't break you because you've already put yourself back together, stronger, wiser, quieter. They cannot stop you because you've stopped asking for permission. The code isn't complicated. Own yourself, master your reactions, move in silence, prepare for everything, attach to nothing. That's the architecture of the untouchable. Machiavelli understood it 500 years ago, and now so do you. If something in this awakened you, leave 2 words in the comments. I'm unbreakable. Not for me, for you. To mark this moment, to declare something to yourself that no one else needs to understand. The fire is still there. It never left. It was just waiting for you to stop apologizing for its heat. Now burn.